The sounds of the San Fernando Valley.
Right?
Oh,
Seriously, you'll probably hear like a bunch of different cars revving in the background
it's
throughout
gonna
this
make me
meeting.
homesick. I'm going, oh.
Oh,
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Coffin Podcast with juanblak. Coming at you on waxradioindie.com and on YouTube.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Coffin Podcast, the morning show that records late at night. And tonight, I'm joined by a longtime friend. They are a stand-up comic. They are a glitch artist and a small business owner. This is L Faunt.
hi everybody. Hello. Great to be here. It's been quite a bit since I talked with you, Juan. Juan and
Yeah.
I are old friends. I think I've known you since like 2010, and like we met through like mutuals on Facebook or something
Yeah.
like that.
We met through a couple of mutuals that actually don't talk to anymore, oddly enough. But
I don't Weirdly, I don't even remember who it was at this point. I really
I
don't.
remember who it was, but I'm not going to mention
Okay.
their name. So
Sure, of course, yeah.
she'll remain anonymous. Well, okay, that's enough already. I already
Yeah.
okay, but it was a person.
Okay.
But yeah, we've known each other that long. It's Jesus Christ. So we met in 2010. Last time I saw you was about 10 years ago. Oh Jesus. So yeah, about like 15 years.
Yeah, did you move out of the valley, what, 2015 or 16?
Oh, what when I left? Yeah, I left like early 2016.
Yeah, cause Apollo moved before you, right?
Yeah. He moved out here in December, and
Yeah.
then
I know there was a gap. So yeah, it was 2016. So yeah, it's basically been 10 years since
yeah,
we saw each
yeah.
other in person.
Yeah, sometimes I miss California. Sometimes, how's things out there?
Yeah, and
Is everything on? Is anything on fire? Is it a war zone or
yeah,
everything
it
else?
is very much a roller coaster out here, and especially since the fires here in LA. I've tried to dig in and just like appreciate what's around me a lot more, because we do have so much here in like LA and SoCal. We have every landscape you can imagine. You can go to the foothills, you can go to the mountains, you can go to the, beach 40-45 minutes away from that. You can go to the desert. Like there's all just like having spending more time like doing like photo and video shoots for the past few years since the pandemic. Like I've really been appreciating all of our natural landscapes here in California, especially, and just like how diverse the land is here. Um, as far as the beauty of what we have to look at, we have so much agriculture, and then we have cities, or you can be in the burbs, or if you go up towards Bakersfield, it's more rural there.
Right.
So California really is all of the things, and it is such a rich landscape. And particular to the LA area, like it can certainly be rough. Like off camera we were talking about how tough the cost of living can be
Yeah.
here and everything like that. And certainly since the entertainment strikes and the fires, like it's been a lot harder for just LA to have an economy and work, and then the ice raids, of course, and all of that. But in spite of it all, especially after the fires at the beginning of this year, like I really saw the resilience of our people. And I know like LA and Hollywood, we have this reputation for being like selfish and self-absorbed, but like all of the mutual aid and people reaching for each other that was happening, at the beginning of the year, like it really gave me hope in an unexpected way. And then like the effort on this has been smaller because it's so much more exhausting, but like, the patrols against the ice raids here, like people are looking out for each other. It's just, it can be tough to feel the community sometimes because everything is so spread out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because California is basically the size of a small country anyway.
Really, truly, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that I loved about living in California. The
Mm-hmm.
cost of living was not one of the things that I loved, but
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and it is one of the tougher things about being out here. But yeah, like there's so much like, there's like it's such a strength of ours that you can go somewhere and everybody around you won't look like you in different ways and we'll be all from different places, and it was so international. I know like a lot of the tourism and international work, kind of that's had a hard year as well. But
yeah, that's
yeah,
taken.
like just like how colorful and diverse this city is, I've always really appreciated that too.
I've always, yeah, that was one of the things I liked about it. Admittedly, living out here nowadays, as it gets a little bit more. I think there's certain parts, certain aspects that's starting to catch up to like like some things like back in California.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's
Like what? Like what?
despite how if you go to certain areas, it gets a little questionable and I'll say rednecky.
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, there's still a a pretty big there's like a big queer community. There's a
Oh,
goth
good.
there's a goth community here that's actually been growing.
Nice.
It's gotten big now here now. It's like, oh, you know, and the punk scene out here has pretty much always been thriving.
Hell
You know,
yeah. That's awesome.
I'll be honest. As far as like the metal scene goes, I don't know a lot about it. So
Mm,
that's the one thing I don't know. I assume I'm sure it's there. I know there's something there, but I was like, I couldn't tell you anything
yeah.
about it. They're there.
Yeah. I was like, I actually was, I went back and listened to some of your older episodes, and like, I was listening to, I think it was like one of your Pride Month episodes with Cryptic Jasmine,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
like you were just talking about kind of the olden days of, identifying as a queer person, but also being into like dark alternative and hard music. And I really resonated with that because, especially like um, when you talk about, for example, because you and I have like riffed on this topic a bunch in the past, but like when you talk about, for example, like the Sunset Strip scene here in
Oh god.
LA, like it was very like forward presenting in a very like like cis heteronormative way, which is
Yeah.
also funny because like butt metal, like hair metal, was so like gender fluid and like,
I love the term butt metal so much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like it was so gender fluid in people's presentations, and but then like tried to do this like overcorrection of like no no no, we're like super duper cis het kind
Oh
of
yeah.
thing, and like and there was a certain like thread of that, in my opinion, that continued through the Sunset Strip like rocker scene, like it probably into like the early 2010s in a way.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
then
no,
like
because there was still a big like glam scene on out there. Everybody was still.
yeah.
There was a lot of people like were still trying to hang on to it or trying to restart it. You
Mhm,
know.
mhm,
So yeah, it was fuck. There was little tiny bits of it still when I left too.
mhm.
I mean, not
But
as much.
yeah, like like, I'm curious to know what your experience, because like I'm kind of on that cusp of millennial and Gen X, and I know like you're Gen X, like, and I'm
Yeah,
curious to know
I'm
what
old.
your
Yes.
I'm curious to know what your experience was of like being into alternative music, but also knowing that you were some flavor of queer because I feel like in our alternative community, like we're drawn to the music and the aesthetics because it speaks to our queerness.
Yeah.
And um and also, you know, I'd been going back and forth with somebody who I follow on Blue, like I just know through Bluesky. They're like, "Ooh, back to internet friends. It's kind of fun, like live journal." But like I've been going back and forth with someone. I think they're a trans femme person, but um they, you know, they and I had been talking just about like they and I are about the same age, and they and I had been talking just about like the goth scene of our era and how also it's like a lot of the venues were queer and a lot of the goth scene was built by queer people, if not behind the scenes, kind of in front of the scenes in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
even people who participated in the goth and alternative scenes, like, and I often have to like keep explaining this to younger people, like people who participated in these scenes just for the way we dressed, even if we weren't out as like queer in gender or orientation, like just
Yeah.
for the way we dressed, we got called the F slur and
Oh
like
yeah. Oh yeah.
slurs and attacked, and there was still hate criming and all of that, you know? So
Oh yeah.
I'm just
Absolutely.
curious to like know what your experience at the crossroads of that was like.
A lot of my experience was because like in the early days when I was like hanging out with bands and playing with bands and everything, I wasn't really. I mean, I was out to some people, but I wasn't out because even though like some people like were people that were kind of like dabbled around in the whole Sunset Strip glam scene and everything. It
Mhm,
was
mhm.
still, it was still all that a lot of toxic masculinity, sort of like
Yeah.
homophobic. It's like like, okay, bro, you're wearing spandex and your name is Jizzy Pearl, and you're gonna talk about how
Right. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. There's this whole weird like overcorrection of like it was so phobic but so like gender fluid and like
right?
the packaging in a weird way.
It was like it's like you took like the like early '70s glam rock sort of thing, but then
Uh-huh.
you just mix it in with a heavy dose of boomer toxic masculinity into it.
Yeah. That's wild. Do you feel like being so this is less so about experiences with like the Sunset Strip folks,
Mm-hmm.
but do you feel like being more towards like the goth and dark alternative scenes and everything like that like helped you come out as queer in any way? Do you feel like that was true?
It definitely had a hand in it because I know it's like the goth and alternative scenes do like they at the time allowed more room for growth as far as being queer or you know non-conforming genders sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
It was more welcoming, because like
Yeah.
plan on like in the rock punk and metal scenes back then it was like like
Mm-hmm.
you can't be a F slur,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and like yeah, that's relatable for me too. Like I definitely think like goth and alternative in particular like helped me discover that more about myself. And yeah, it was interesting too because like I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to word this, but even like metal in some ways, like I think it did help me reach a little more for my masculine side in some ways, but then I didn't go to a lot of metal shows because I was really put off by the toxic stuff and the like whole performance of like trying to be hard in a very specific way. So it was weird because it's like the music helped me realize a little bit more of my masculinity or fluidity when I felt towards masculine sometimes, but like the fans and the like general vibe like put me off a little bit.
Right.
like okay, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
If I were like 22, 23 now and like just getting into the metal scene, I bet I would go to more shows because I see more diversity
Oh
in the
yeah.
metal scene now. Like I see more POC in the audiences. I see
Yeah.
more like gender diverse expressions and trans people even and even like trans musicians, like even though they're kind of more in the Bandcamp realm, like they're still getting out there more. Like I see more representation, so I bet I would feel safer now. But yeah, like closer to our era and certainly like 90s, like it was harder to
A little
find a
different.
place to
Yeah.
connect with that.
Yeah. I mean, I love how like, like especially like the metal scene stuff like that. There's so much more diverse now because like it just I'm seeing a lot like at the times like when when you met me and I was playing bands, like you didn't really find many bands running around that had a person of color in the band.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yeah.
wasn't many. Now all of a sudden it's like there's a lot of them now, and I love it.
Yeah, and definitely like here in SoCal, in a way, a lot of the like Latine bands have taken up the torch of especially like guitar driven rock music or
Oh
even
yeah,
some of like the more synth powered stuff. Like I tend to think of a lot of the synth powered stuff like in my brain I call it like post Boy Harsher music, but like cuz a lot of it sounds like, it's like when making music on your laptop became more accessible, but there is some like good stuff out. Like it's kind of like lo-fi, like dark synth wavy kind of stuff.
right.
And yeah, some of the stuff out there is it's
It's kind
really
of some of the stuff
enjoyable.
I do now with the other
Hmm.
projects. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm one of those laptop guys now.
right. No, and yeah, like sometimes I sit there and I think about like, okay, there's a lot of ways in which like the future totally sucks now, but there's actually like some things that have like gotten better in the long arc of
Oh
things,
yeah,
you know? And
absolutely.
I definitely think the whole like access to making and creating music or even just different types of creativity, because I do like a phone and computer based style of art that sometimes
Right.
uses analog tools, but like just like the increased access with that, especially like post like late 2010s, like it's actually an improvement. Not
Oh,
just like a fake improvement like a lot of AI tools, you know?
yeah, exactly. I wish like I had the access stuff that I do that I'm able to do now. I wish I was
Hmm.
able to do 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like sometimes it's just a matter of yeah, like waiting like I definitely came from one of the like even though my family was like comfortable when there was a middle class back in the day, like, and that was my experience growing up. Like we were definitely it was still immigrant family where like you waited until the technology was like 2 to 3 generations out to
Yeah.
actually invest your money in it. Like you didn't go out and buy the newest hottest thing. So I feel like I carried that mentality forward in life. And yeah, like I often wait for the tech to become like price-wise or financially accessible. I mean,
Yeah.
like, now my creative work is a little more tech-based, so I do sometimes have to make the investment or whatever, but, like, yeah, I've definitely, like, chosen to wait a lot, until something just becomes more, like, yeah, publicly accessible.
Yeah.
Um, but, I'm glad that it is. I'm glad that it is. And shitty tech bros kind of are trying to steer in the other direction and make everything a fucking subscription again, but
Yeah.
whatever. Fuck that. You can't put the cat back in the bag, in my opinion.
It's like what, like Tesla, you had to pay for a subscription to use the air conditioner or some shit.
Oh, geez, really? Fuck.
There's certain features you had to have a subscription for. I'm not sure what. I mean, I might be
Oh my gosh.
exaggerating about the air conditioning, but then again, with
Mhm.
Elon Musk, you never know. It could be true.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so I'm glad the future is actually like,
Hmm.
apart from the dystopia, like it's actually making some things like easier to reach for as far as everyday people.
Yeah.
For
It's
sure.
it's, it's helpful because like I said, there's certain. I mean, not everything doesn't suck as far as that goes. I mean, some things do, but just
Yeah.
having access to things to be able to, like the stuff I'm doing now is like, if I guess that's the only positive thing that came out of the pandemic. Because like I was like, it's like I was like, I didn't really have anything else going on, besides work.
Mhm.
Coming home, I was like, well, I want to do this, but I might as well figure it out on my own since I'm here. It's like, oh wait, there's some
Mhm.
apps I can. Oh wait a minute, and here we are.
Yeah, I kind of accidentally, you know, learned to use some of those beepy boopy machines behind me, and I'm messing with synths more. And it's important to say that if I wasn't with my partner, I probably wouldn't buy the synths myself, but like my partner definitely helped me gain access to just free music jamming and like being open to having jam sessions together. So I learned how to use a drum machine in really basic ways, and I got back to playing synths and like semi modular kind of stuff, and just like having fun twisting the knobs and everything like that.
Yeah,
And that's what I like to remind people of too. It's like, okay, yeah, the dystopia is really far gone right now, but like if you can reach for having some kind of a especially creative hobby right now, it's okay to have hobbies.
yeah,
Like if you can carve out that time, even if it's like 10 minutes a day or a week or every few days, like that's so important. I think, because there was this real push at some point to like monetize everything we do.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, as a small business owner who has like a bunch of different prongs to their business, who kind of seasonally like cycles in and out some of the services that I offer, I totally get that. But yeah, if there's any way that you can still kind of block off time just for hobbies or fun,
Yeah.
FUN.
Exactly.
Putting the FU and FU to fascism, fun.
Like this is a time to just start making art. Like
Mm-hmm.
It's like my friend Inky was saying, like a couple episodes back.
Mm-hmm.
Just make art, even if it's bad art. Make art. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, like there's a random like glitch artist that my partner and I just connected with. Initially it was on Instagram. It was because our glitch art community is like fairly smaller, even though it's international. And he lives in the UK, but like he joined our Discord server, and I super admire him in just like almost every single day of the week. I think maybe he takes weekends off or something, but he posts a piece of art. His I'll name drop him. He goes by OK Sauce. His art is super fucking sick.
His name is
Fellow glitch
OK
artist.
Sauce. That's
Yes,
an
OK.
interesting name.
Yeah. But like super cool, just like yeah, glitchy digital artist. And yeah, like he makes it a regular practice of posting regularly. And I think it's so important to stay committed to your art, even if you are, really committed to a day job or you have a lot of demands in your life in other ways. Like, totally get that. But like, and I wasn't always so enlightened about that either. But yeah, like, existing is hard right now, and we have all those
Oh yeah,
capitalistic pulls on us. But like, if you can just carve out even that 10 to 15 minutes, it's so like rewarding for your soul, in my opinion.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah. So what should we talk about next? I don't like what do you have going on? Do you have any shows coming up?
So far I don't really have anything until February. I'm kind of like playing part of a not Halloween, uh Valentine's Day show,
Cool.
so
Okay.
which it should be fun.
Nice.
There was somebody had contacted me about filling in on. Hey, could you not rub your head on my laptop, please? Thank you. I was like, they talked to me about doing like a filling in for a show next week. I'm like, well, yeah, give me the
Hmm.
details, and I probably will. But they never got back to me. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Stay
it'd be
tuned,
nice.
everybody. Stay tuned to Juan's socials just in case.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It's like I'm always down, especially with my my other projects. I'm down like try to play as many shows with that as I can to try to get it out there and
Hmm.
hawk some CDs. But if it's not gonna happen, I was like, well, then I just stay home. That's fine. I can do that too. Excuse me, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. How
Gotta
is the weather out there? Is it getting cold already?
Okay, the weather is fucking weird. Last
It is
Sat-
here
last
too.
last Saturday was nice. Me and Apollo had a nice little road trip and everything. It was great. Sunday and Monday, it snowed. It was cold as fuck. It wasn't
Hmm.
even really supposed to snow the way it did. It was only supposed to maybe possibly flurry a little bit. It was mostly
Hmm.
supposed to be just rain and cold. But
Hmm.
but the rain just turned into actual snow and it actually stuck, and we actually got maybe like about an inch and a half.
Hmm.
Uh, by yesterday, snow was melted and temperatures have rise up. Today it was like 60.
Hmm.
By Saturday, it's going to be hitting about 70. So it's like the weather is uncertain
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah, I know. I heard about like the big cold snap in the Midwest right
Mm-hmm.
now. So yeah, I was curious how you guys got hit. It's been really weird here too. Like, no, you know how it is, but like November in the Valley, like it can be kind of hit and miss. Like we'll just have like dry Novembers where it's sunny and just like, cools down at night and in the morning, but is like pretty temperate during the day. We had like a weirdly like warm, well, okay, so yeah, we basically had like the opposite of what you guys had, which is kind of funny, but like
Right.
yeah, I think Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday, it was warm. Like in the valley, it got up to the low 90s still at one point. But
Sounds like
this
fun.
time of year, yeah, this time of year, because it gets dark early, like it kind of mellows out more quickly. And
Yeah.
it doesn't usually stay hot when it's dark. But then about yesterday, Wednesday, um, it started being like consistently overcast, and then for these past 2 days it was like warmish, like low 70s, but like humid. So it was like our
Ooh.
summer storm kind of humid, which we've started getting here more, and it's almost like the Mexico weather pattern or whatever. But like we started getting that here more and more over the past 10 years, and now it's finally raining, and there's going to be like a big like 3 or 4 day rainstorm here, I guess.
Yeah, I remember it didn't rain a lot in LA, but when it did, it did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like the past, like I don't know, I think it was 20, it was like 21 through 2023, we had a lot of incredibly heavy winter storms and flooding.
Hmm.
Um and like yeah, like people were needing to like tarp their apartment buildings and all that
Oh
kind of
damn.
stuff. Yeah, so like things LA is poorly equipped for
Yeah.
street flooding.
Yeah, I remember I was in LA for a few of the El Ninos.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I remember like the 90s El Nino. There was like back when it was just like TV news, and
Yeah.
people were like boogie boarding off the backs of like trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Toyota trucks.
I
Like I
remember seeing
remember
that.
seeing that shit.
I
Yeah.
think
Good
about that
times.
also make flashbacks to the old Northridge earthquake and everything.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I was living in North Hollywood at the time. Actually, no, I was
Mm-hmm.
not living in North Hollywood. That is a lie. I mean, I probably wasn't too far away because I was in Hollywood, but I was like up off of
Mm-hmm.
I was on Franklin Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was back in the day when you go down to Yucca and Wilcox area. It was actually a bad neighborhood.
Oh yeah, that whole area is like so gentrified
Oh, I know. It was
now.
gentrified before I left.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? And like it's interesting because this movie actually, like I think it came out probably right around when you left, but this was a really interesting movie for me because it really like solidified that kind of tipping point
Mm-hmm.
of like heavy gentrification in Hollywood and like even into East Hollywood. But have you ever seen the movie Tangerine by Sean Baker?
I have not.
I recommend that you watch it. It might be an interesting watch for you. So Sean Baker is the same director who directed Anora, which won the Academy Award. I think it was earlier this year. I think it was 2025, if I'm not mistaken. But um anyway, it's very much a slice of life of like the less gentrified parts of Hollywood, and the central characters are like a couple of black trans like street sex workers, and
Hmm.
then another one of the main characters is like an East Hollywood Armenian man. And it's very much like a love letter to like that part of Hollywood that was literally getting gentrified at the moment. Like what's so fascinating is I read about the movie, and do you remember Donut Time that's now Trejo's Donuts or whatever?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, the on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where the
It was Danny
trans
Trejo's
sex
place.
workers.
Yeah, I remember. Oh God, I
Yeah.
remember that. I used to go by there like all the time.
Yeah,
Maybe working there all
yeah.
night.
So they used Donut Time, and it might have actually even been the real employees who worked there. I'm not 100% sure, but they used the interior of that location. And pretty much, I think after the movie came out, like maybe early 2015, the place closed, and it was closed for a while, and then it became, or I don't know, maybe that happened in 2016. I can't remember the exact timeline, but after it was closed for a while, it became Trejo's Donuts.
Yeah, 'cause I remember went down that way, just kind of just walked around down there,
Mm-hmm.
like before I left, like maybe during that 1 week, I was like just kind of making the rounds before I left. And
Yeah.
when I went down there, it was, I don't know if it was already if Danny Trejo's place was there or not. Yeah, it was there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they were going to open it or not, but yeah, I think it was already there. Yeah, but I remember, yeah. Donut Time had been gone for a minute. I remember
Yeah.
I've actually gotten food from Donut Time before. Yeah, I remember their little ham and cheese croissants were pretty good.
But yeah, Tangerine by Sean Baker. It's a little slice of LA nostalgia, which is so weird to say about 2010s LA even, but it's weird because when we watched, like we
Yeah,
recently watched the movie. It's also weirdly kind of a Christmas movie, which is because it's set during that, like around the holidays, but like yeah, we watched it recently, and it yeah, it was like oddly a specific 2010s nostalgia, and I'm like, well, that feels weird that the mid 2010s were 10 years ago, but it really pinpointed like the specific point in time. Like at one point, one of the women in the movie is like, she's wearing like these leggings with a very specific looking, like kind of southwestern indigenous like pattern on
hmm.
them that remind me of like something that was popular like peak 2014. Like I remember when that kind of stuff was popular, and I don't know, it was a really interesting experience. So anyway, I recommend watching that movie. You might
Yeah,
enjoy
I
it.
gotta check it out. Do me a favor, like when you get a chance, message me the name of the movie because I will forget.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Because I got the old people's brain and I forget things.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's cool LA locations in it too. Like the West Hollywood Hamburger Mary's is in it,
Oh wow,
which is still a thing, still there. But
yeah, that's
yeah,
not
like I
coming
said,
anymore.
Donut Time is in there, the old school one. So
You know
yeah.
what was this nostalgic movie for me? As
Hmm.
it because it was silly at the time. It's like and it was like half of the extras that were in this movie I knew.
Hmm.
You remember a movie called Where the Day Takes You?
I honestly don't know. I've never heard of it.
So back in like the early '90s,
Hmm.
they made a movie. It was basically based on like the Hollywood street kids at the time.
Hmm.
It actually had Ricky Lake was in it. Will Smith was in
Ooh,
it.
dang.
Uh, there's the dude from Twin Peaks was in it, whose name I can't remember. He's got
Was
the
it Harry Dean Stanton, like the
yeah.
older guy?
No, it was the
Oh,
younger
okay.
guy. Well, he's not younger
Okay.
now, but he was a younger
Yeah.
guy then. He kind of had a weird face.
Okay.
He was in Sex in the City. He was in some other things.
Okay.
He
Anyway.
did stuff and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
terrible with the recall of like actor names if they're any more than like a very famous person, because I can't remember that stuff. Like, I'm better with musicians and stuff like that. But yeah, okay, cool. Wherever
yeah,
day takes you.
Yeah, and it was like, you know, all like different. They're all over different parts of Hollywood. You know, with street kids. I mean, they had it was. I think it was kind of loosely based off of like things that people like were explaining to them, and that's how they wrote the script. Some of the script read kind of genuine, where it's like oh yeah, like Ricky Lake played like the character she played remind me of like 2 or 3 people I used to know on the boulevard. It's like, oh god, I know her.
And
other times there was like they kind of like exaggerated on certain things a little bit, and it was like, nah, that wouldn't happen. But it was an interesting movie.
Okay, I'm curious about this. So when was the first time that you, like, the first time span that you came out to LA? Because I know you were like in LA for a chunk of time, and then I think you left and then you came back or something. Am I getting that right?
Kind of, yeah. I first moved to LA in like 1991.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 91. And I was pretty much out there up until about like 2000. Oh, excuse me, sorry, 2007. That's like when I first sorry first started talking to Paul and everything, and I came out here, lived out here for a while. Then we moved back to LA. Then moved back out here again. Then moved back to LA again. Was there for a few years. That's when you and I met. And yeah, and then the last time I left, and I've been here ever since.
So like, were you in with the crowd of like River Phoenix and like, you know, the folks hanging out on the Sunset Strip, or were you more like in a different part of the scene when you first
pretty
came
much
to LA?
when I first came out to LA. I was pretty much a boulevard rat, pretty much.
Okay.
Hanging on Hollywood Boulevard. We hung out in a few squats. Like there used to be like this place on Hollywood and Western, which on Hollywood and Western now you got the Ross and the Ralphs. Almost call it Kroger. It's like it's Ralphs. We had a Ralphs out here, but they call them Kroger here. But
Right, yeah.
But back in the day, back then, it was an abandoned hotel and an abandoned strip mall there that was there for years.
Interesting.
Like all street kids used to live in, and stayed there for like the longest time. And then eventually I moved out of there and went next door. There's like I think it's an apartment building now, but it was the St. Francis Hotel. So I lived there for a while, and that was something.
I bet.
That was a thing that happened.
Yeah. Because I keep trying to explain to people, and I didn't have as much experience with the LA scene during that time. I mean, I was pretty much a teenager during those times, but like, I keep trying to explain to people, like, yeah, like, Hollywood was not the gentrified
No.
or like it could get rough on the boulevard and certainly wasn't as built up in a lot of ways, and certainly no like luxury apartments and stuff like that. Hello.
Yes, it's toast. It's
Cute.
the usual co-host popped up.
Cute. Hello. Thank you for co-hosting. Very cute.
How you doing, spoiled brat?
Yeah, cause like I always feel that Sunset Strip was more like the people who are like, ooh, I want to be in the mix and like see famous people and like,
Yeah.
or if you were famous kind of thing back in those days.
That's like you where you go to be seen, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which really, when I left, there was a lot of that still. It was just, it just became different things. Like, like those people went from that to like hanging out. Like, there used to be a place on Hollywood Boulevard. I forgot it was called the Rusty Mullet or some shit. The Rusty Mullet, the Ugly Mullet, or some such bullshit with a mullet.
Uh-huh.
But I remember that, like, it's like I know that's a place that people go to be seen, because why else would you go to a place like that? And it was like the crowd that
Yeah.
usually hung out there was just not my crowd.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing too, for better or worse. And it is something I think I miss a little bit like post Panny, is just like, especially going to like anywhere more central in Los Angeles, like Hollywoodish or West Hollywood or even towards Silver Lake or whatever. And like kind of just being able to see famous people. But like, yeah, my main most recent thing is in the valley, and I'll be vague about location because I try
Yes.
not to like out like relatively famous people, but like in the valley side of things,
Mm-hmm.
I just passed Linda Perry of
Girl.
Four Non Blondes, famous producer, walking down the street.
Oh.
That was like a couple months ago. But I feel like that was the first like famous person encounter I'd had anywhere in LA for like a really long time, like since like pre-Panny or something like that.
Right. I've like ran into a lot of people living out there. And sometimes I ran into people that I didn't realize who they were until like after the fact. I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's who that was. That's why they look familiar.
Yeah,
You see
I'm sure I've experienced that too. Yeah.
You see somebody, you think, do I know you from somewhere? It's like, did we hang out before? Because you automatically think it's just you think it's somebody that you just know from somewhere, and then it's like ends up being like, oh, that's the guy from such and such a thing. Oh, it's like when I was living in North Hollywood, it's like right up the street from me. You ever watch Reno 911?
Yes.
Yeah, there was like two of the actors from that show whose names I can't remember, and they were also both oh god, what was that?
The State, because a lot of them were on the
yes.
State. Yeah, that show, by the way, huge influence on me as a comedian. Huge, like probably bigger than like, I mean, like I did my share of watching like classic Saturday Night Lives, but like, yeah, the State was like a huge influence. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Like Tom Lennon was local, and then a couple of the guys. I forget who.
The one lady with the short hair.
Carrie Kenny. I think her name is Carrie Kenny. Carrie,
that's right. Yeah, because I live like right by Valley Village, and they live like right up the street right in Valley Village.
Oh,
and
wow.
I used to see them all the time. They're actually really, really nice.
That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah, this is like random reference to the State, but like apparently a couple of the actors, couple of the guys, I don't know if they live in Hollywood, but they just started like a dad rock band in Hollywood, and somebody who I follow from like my past like belly dancing career and stuff, she was like in Hollywood and just like was at a backyard party in Hollywood, like not like a hoity-toity Hollywood party, just like a chill like backyard house party in Hollywood where they like started a dad rock band, and like
Oh,
so like
jeez.
two of the guys from the state were like playing in a band at some place, and I was like, I'm really fucking jealous actually. like like that's the kind of random LA experience that like it's worth living in LA for, you know, like
Yeah.
I appreciate that kind of stuff. Or like when you'll run into a famous person and they're like chill and cool, you know, and yeah, so
Yeah. I used to work for a landscape lighting company.
uh-huh.
And the guy had like a lot of contracts with like people with money, a lot more famous people stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we actually did maintenance on Tom Petty's lights when he was living in Malibu.
Oh wow.
I was like it's like I met his mother-in-law. We met him and met his
Mm-hmm.
mother. His mother-in-law wasn't a fan.
Mm.
Tom Petty himself, he was cool as fuck though.
Oh,
You know,
that's wonderful.
he
That's
was
great to
cool, and then
hear.
we'd be working, and he'd be in his little. He had like his own like little shed area. You'd be just smoking it up back there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. And you know, it's like famous people are humans too, and
Oh
everybody
yeah.
has their good and bad days, but it's always nice to hear when like most folks I know who have, you know, had run-ins with a particular person have like largely positive experiences with them, and you know, like
Yeah.
you hear that somebody you care about like tries to be a fairly decent human being on the daily. That's always nice.
Yeah. Like I did also I'm like worked on lights for Neil Diamond.
Uh-huh.
He was an asshole, but his dogs were sweet.
Oh, that's a weird trade-off, but
Yeah, it's like
okay.
I like your dogs better anyway.
Yeah. That's
It's so much for
funny.
the jazz singer.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is a thing too. And then that's a thing too, is like with what I was saying earlier about like, oh, I haven't run into that many famous people post Panny, but like I also don't super know who people are because a lot of people are just like TikTokers.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking old and I don't have TikTok. So, yeah, like I'm sure there's various like okay, I guess one good thing that the pandemic, then the strikes, then the horrible fires brought to LA is like a lot of just people who wanted to be here to be fucking influencers, like they have mellowed out or they have had to get other jobs or they had to leave or they were like humbled in some way. So like it's definitely a lot more chill in that regard.
Uh, one thing I want to get into before we wrap things up, I want to talk to you about your stand-up comedy.
Okay, sure.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that. I want to know the
Oh
details.
my god. Do you want me to talk about like how I got started or why the hell I would want want to do
Yes,
stand
yes,
up?
yes, yes, all of it. Yes, yes.
I don't know. I don't even know, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
just one day I was just there. Yeah,
yeah. So, well, I've been a lifelong comedy fan and comedy
right.
appreciator.
Yeah, I
And
know.
lifelong, I recognized it as a very difficult art form. And for decades, I was like, God, that's such a badass performer career, but it takes like so many balls, like so
Oh
many
yeah.
gonads to do, you know? And you know, like I could tell it was a rough career or performer path to try to pursue, but there were a lot of comedy people who I watched who had a big influence on me, like I mentioned earlier. All of the people in the state, like what they did with sketch comedy in that show just made it so much more like digestible for my generation and like relatable, and being like, you don't have to be this weird like stiff slapstick like 80s Saturday Night Live thing about it. And then there was that heyday of comedians like Margaret Cho obviously was a massive influence on me. There was a troupe, a sketch troupe, I think based in SoCal, based in LA, called Culture Clash, that
Oh
was
yeah,
on TV. Yeah, they were
I
on
remember.
TV
Yeah.
here for a while, and they were doing really cool stuff. And then roughly around that same time, we had Mad TV. And Mad TV was really cool. And it was also like a little more diverse and younger than Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
which was still very like white / tokenized. Like the humor felt very boomer in SNL a little bit more. And Mad TV, it's funny because I literally just went on another podcast with comedians I know and talked about the influence of Mad TV and like how I actually want to go back and rewatch it. And I know that there are some sketches that don't hold up.
Yeah.
But with that said, like seeing a lot of those actors, who was it, like just like Phil Lamar, with how like gawky and weird he was. I thought he was so hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, the one who played Miss Fawn, she was in Mrs. Maisel as
Alex
well.
Borstein.
Yeah, Alex
Alex
Borstein. Like,
yeah.
I thought she was
Also the voice of
amazing.
Lois.
What's that?
That's also the voice of Lois.
Yeah,
Family
absolutely.
Guy.
Yeah. Like
Still.
great range as a comedic actor.
Yeah.
And just like all these cool I had the weirdest crush on Bobby Lee for a while, I will admit to it. Like just because he's so weird. Yeah, like the comedy was weird. Like it was comedy, but it was weird. But it wasn't weird to the point where it lost the funny, which is sometimes okay. So there's a genre called alt comedy or alternative comedy,
Yeah.
where a lot of the times like people will go on stage trying to do a character, so it's kind of like doing a solo sketch but not quite, like you're doing comedy in character. And I have seen a lot of alt comedy, like, in as much as I am not trying to deprecate like just any hardworking performer that goes up on stage, because that shit is hard. Like, it just did not hit, it didn't land, or they were so busy trying to be outrageous that they lost the funny. But one of the things I really appreciated about Mad TV was like they went into the weird without losing the funny. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was really a heyday of like all of these diverse comedians at the time. And I got really excited. And then my early 20s / the 2000s, which was very conservative, like bro, Dane Cook, Carlos Mencia kind of backlash
Fucking
stand-up
Carlos
comedy.
Mencia.
That was a rough era, and that kind of like pivoted me away from like getting really thrilled or excited about comedy, I think. And then there was this pivot again in the early 2010s that kind of like got me a little more excited about comedy again. Like, I think like Chris Rock did some funny specials. Like, it was before it was before fucking Chappelle was really trying to double down on the fucking phobia,
Yeah, back when it was funny for a minute.
Yeah, like folks like Jim Gaffigan were doing stuff. There were some interest, like basically when Netflix streaming got to be a thing, like there was a little bit of an uptick in some exciting comedian, like I think I saw the first Ali Wong special around then and stuff like that.
Oh,
So it got
I think I remember the special. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
yeah, it got exciting again a little bit. And around that time, mid 2010s, I was in this like immersive underground show, and I just wanted to diversify what I did as a performer, and I missed making people laugh, and I missed like the funny side of things. So I think it was finally 2019, because I had done acting and comedy and stuff like that, like when I was young, like partially early 20s in college, like early 2000s, a little bit when I was in high school and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I came back to it around that time. I took my first improv comedy class through like a partnership with LA Valley College or something like that. Late 2019. Then we all know what happened in early 2020. And it's funny because my first formal stand-up workshop that I took was literally the last weekend we were open before the shutdown here in California. It was
Oh
like
wow.
the St. Patrick's weekend of 2020. I took like a crash course stand-up workshop. It was very introductory, and then boom, pandemic, we were
I
shut down.
oddly enough, just a show at that same week before
Yeah.
before before COVID actually hit really fucking hard. Like I
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
played like a really big show with my previous lineup.
Mhm.
It was great show and everything, but then all of a
Yeah.
sudden after that show, that's when everything went.
Yeah. So I took my first actual stand-up workshop then, and then for, most of like that year of 2020 to early 21, I didn't do too much with comedy.
Right.
Like my partner and I co-wrote some stand-up that I performed virtually based on some of the skill set that I picked up from that. But yeah, that was like virtually at the end of 2020. I kind of didn't really do comedy in 2021. And then at the very beginning, January of 2022, I took my first much more intensive course with my comedy teacher, Bobby Oliver, who she really has kind of been my grounding anchor within stand up for me throughout. And now I'm at the point in my career where I'm like taking a few classes here and there with other instructors, but like my work with Bobby Oliver has been really, really influential
Hmm.
in that regard. And pretty much after those first 3 months of the intensive, I just went out into the wild and started booking some gigs. I will say, I am not at the point of having performed at the big venues in LA yet. But
Right.
there's a lot of smaller rooms in LA that are cool that I've done. I've performed at Flappers. I have also gone back to hosting and emceeing some different types of shows, which is a job that I really enjoy doing.
Hmm.
I enjoy being that kind of facilitator in shows, so
Yeah.
I did that quite a bit as well. Um, and I'm open to seeing what the future holds. This definitely, like 2025 was a tougher year for stand up for me. It was a tougher year for stand up in LA. It was harder to get booked. It was harder to get booked as a gender diverse comedian talking about more diverse and queer topics.
Yeah.
Because I feel like mainstream producers who are not immediately diverse lineup aligned, like a lot of people started to feel like, oh, that was just a thing we did in like 2021 and 22, and
Right.
that was a woke trend or whatever.
Yeah.
um and that's disappointing. But I still get booked, so on average I do about 1 to 2 booked shows a month, and I try to keep my material fresh by going to open mics and stuff like that, and try to get out there with hosting gigs and applying to stuff and stuff like that. I try to do at least one bigger audition per year where it will get me into a bigger comedy club or will get me into a festival. Had an audition for something like that this year, didn't get in, but I got great notes from it, and I'm always grateful for when I have information like that as well. So every step forward kind of helps take you forward on the path, especially when they're considered enough to give notes. I always appreciate that. And it helps take you forward on the path. And yeah, like I said, it was a tougher year for comedy here in LA, but I'm determined. I know my goals, which I'm keeping a little bit closer to my chest, just because people like to naysay and things like that. But
Yeah.
I know what my goals are. I know what strengths I'm trying to like keep working out and building. And yeah, I'm excited for the future. And oh, and also like this is a really crucial experience too, but like I hit my first kind of like slump this year where I wouldn't necessarily like maybe I would call it writer's block, but like I just felt like I wasn't like my writing hit a rough patch and like I wasn't happy with like the results of my jokes, and I was like
Right.
throwing out a lot of jokes, and I think that's an important part of just like lived experience
Oh yeah,
as
absolutely.
somebody who yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm sure like current climate makes things a little weird too. You know, so just
Oh
kind of
yeah, like okay, there's somebody who supposedly manages a very small comedy club in Hollywood. I'm not going to out this person even though I probably should, but I'm not going to. As of the end of October, beginning of November, they decided that they were going to host a Hollywood detransitioner film festival at their location, with the headlining movie of the film fest being co-produced by Charlie Kirk.
mm. So
Not a good look.
what's the name of this place and this person again?
Exactly.
What?
No, and that's the thing too. It's like I've had to make some choices just to protect my well-being and protect my peace. Because in the past, when I was younger, I did make a lot of choices to overtly call people out and overtly expose some people's shitty behavior. And the problem the problem with that is I see nothing wrong with it, and I see nothing bad about that, but here in LA, the culture starts to look at, especially if you're any kind of, marginalized identity,
Yeah.
the culture starts to look at you as a shit stirrer, as, oh, they can't play nice, as, oh, they're making people uncomfortable, and blah, blah, blah. And they put it all on the person doing the calling out
Oh yeah.
versus the person who did the harm. And, it's
Yep.
very upsetting that our culture is still like that. And LA, is still tough in that regard. But I mean, also just humans don't deal with information like this well, and people with privilege don't encounter this well. So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you have to make decisions to um protect your well-being and protect your peace, and it sucks and it's rough and it's tough, and it's tough when you feel like you're at risk of losing gigs. But I'm also grateful for I'm grateful for all the supportive spaces. Like I mentioned Bobby Oliver earlier, and she has a comedy space, a comedy studio, and very much tries to make a point of being welcoming and making it a space for people of marginalized identities. And also, like I would say, like she really tries to cultivate also a community of like older millennial through boomer aged people. And like
Huh.
older people are less I mean, we can joke about like boomer comedy all day, right? But like older people are less represented on stage in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So, she's really tried to carve out a space for middle-aged and older people to be represented, and that's super important. So, in as much as like there's bigotry, oh God, I've heard real bad anti-trans stuff at open mic. This is just open mics, not necessarily shows, because these are, luckily, a lot of these people are gate kept out of the shows. But like, I've heard really bad anti-trans stuff. I've heard really bad anti-Jewish bigotry, ableism, like all the stuff. Like it's bad, and I'm sure like the current political climate is contributing to people thinking that they can be bold about that. But like I said, at the same time, I'm really grateful for all of the intentional spaces and all of the weirdo spaces and all of the spaces who will happily welcome me with open arms. And I'm really just trying to focus on that and focus on the like put all of those skills from show business I have from so many decades together now.
Yeah.
Try to holistically like be like a performer of like in their excellence, and just keep embodying that as best as I can, keep working on my craft, and we'll see where life takes me with that.
Yeah. Could you get your big head out the camera, please?
Hello. Thank you for saying hello. Cute.
So that's their way of telling me, hey, about breakfast time there, buddy. So, in that case, we're going to get to this part of the show where we ask you any last words, which means, any last things you want to say, anything you want to promote, you want to like, I mean, I'm going to include links for all your stuff in the description too, but in case you want to.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So, unfortunately, the one really big event we are doing will have passed by the time this show airs.
Yeah.
And it is the last one of it that's occurring. But we're vending at a really big event in downtown LA called Blasphemy. Super cool group of people. A lot of independent artists, like dark alternative, you name it, like art, housewares, apparel, all sorts of stuff like that. There's also going to be performers there, drag, burlesque, things like that. But yeah, that will be over by the time this show airs. So, we will be at a place called No Home Market off of Lancashire on Sunday, November 23rd. And then our next really big event is going to be called Dark Queersmas. And it's going to be a really cool kind of meeting of like witchy, occulty, queer owned stuff. Another big vendor event, downtown LA venue, and that is taking place Saturday, December 6th. And yeah, we have other vendings later in December. If you follow MMIX_art on Instagram, we stay up to date on all like the monthly vendings we're doing on there. So folks can follow me on there. My solo stand-up comedy stuff is at L Faunt, Faunt, all LLFAUNT, all one word, on Instagram, and I'll send you my other links. Yeah, I don't have too much comedy booked through the end of the year at this point. I feel flattered to say that I turned a couple things down just because I was so occupied and busy with other stuff.
Right.
But my one scheduled stand-up comedy thing is going to be something called Bare Knuckles Comedy. It's also in North Hollywood at a place called Bruise Brothers, and that will be Thursday, December 11th.
Bruise Brothers. That sounds familiar. Where is that at?
It's right on Lancashire, almost like it's on that block that's like the intersection of Magnolia and Lancashire.
Oh, okay. So that's because that's fairly new then, because I don't think that was there before.
It's
Yeah.
probably newer, yeah. Certainly
Yeah.
compared to when you were
Because I know you have
there.
like that little section over there. You have like, well, you used to have that one pit fire pizza or whatever.
That's still there, yeah,
Oh, still
on
there?
like the diagonal opposite corner, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, because
Mhm.
I always figured they'd probably still be there. And then on the other corner, you had the Starbucks and that other
Mhm.
theater. And then you had that one studio, the Bob's Burger studio place.
Bento box?
Bento Box.
Was
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still there as well. All that stuff is still there.
Yeah. I still remember where stuff is at.
Yay.
But yeah, I'll definitely include all the links there.
Thank you. Juan, do you have any like cuz you said you don't have too many shows booked either, but do you have any like music coming out, any like just being released anytime soon?
Kind of working on another single right now because I still got that one the most recent Black Sunday single just put out like a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
That song Masquerades that I did with Akiko from Yamauba, and
Very cool.
that's getting some traction actually. It's like,
Sweet.
oh, but yeah, I'm working on another Black Sunday single.
Mhm.
That I'm gonna try to get that out by December because I want to try to. It's one of the things I want to try to get like the song and a video done for it like at the same time if I can.
Mhm.
So
So is Black Sunday like just you right now?
well, it's actually really Black Sunday and Until Weird Dust is just me.
Uh-huh.
Uh, for the most part, just me and my friend Yuri, who does
Gotcha.
pretty much all the instruments, except for like if I'm collabing. Sometimes like
Mhm.
which mostly with like a lot of Until Weird Dust stuff is like some of it's collab stuff, but
Cool.
lately a lot more of it's been with Yuri. I mean, Yuri is
Yeah, what
sorry.
sorry, yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Yes.
sorry.
Was Until We Are Dust intended to be more of your synthy
Yes.
stuff? Is that what you were telling me recently?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, and then like Black Sunday sometimes builds out more as a band and plays gigs and
yeah.
sometimes not, basically. Yeah.
I mean, at this point right now, it's like both bands are just like because Yuri doesn't live in Indiana, so
Gotcha. Okay.
it's pretty much like I'm playing shows as both, but it's
Mhm.
for the most part it's like me and a laptop. Like occasionally I'll have somebody kind of help me out on stage if they get time, but for the most part, like as far as like live goes, it's me.
Yeah, as I have learned from my partner having a music project and just attempting to have a band in LA,
Oh
maintaining
yeah,
band personnel as like especially as like middle-aged adult. Well, I mean, okay, there's other factors that come in if you're like in your 20s and trying to be in a band, but like
yeah.
as fucking like middle-aged adults trying to like maintain band personnel consistently being a part of your band, that's tough.
It is. It really is.
Yeah,
Yeah, because everybody's got to work. Everybody has lives.
right.
You know, at the time, like that I was working with, he was from India, but yeah,
Hmm.
he was playing drums. He's like, he was a really good drummer.
Mhm.
But eventually, like the last time the orange dipshit was in office, he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm actually moving to Canada because I don't want to take any chances.
Yeah.
Things are just getting weird, and which was kind of a smart thing to do, considering the fact how this shit is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame anyone for needing to do what they do. But yeah, even apart from the current shit show, like maintaining band personnel as a
Yeah,
middle-aged adult is like a task.
it is. It's
Yeah, so round of applause for all the musicians out there. Yeah. And I like that we kind of went full circle with that too. Like we went from talking about like, okay, how is the Sunset Strip like, and the rocker people and the glam rock people, and then how music is in and being in bands and stuff is in our lives.
yeah.
Even though I'm not in a band. A lot of people do think I'm part of my partner's band. I am not. We just jam separately on music as funsies. And actually, sorry, I'm not going to go too long. I know your cats need to eat breakfast, but yeah, like one of just like the community things we tried to facilitate this year were a few different jam sessions in our friends. We have some friends who are thankfully well enough off to actually co-own a house in West Hollywood.
Oh wow.
And they have a nice yard. So we've had a few jam sessions back there, and that was a really great experience to be able to facilitate this year. Because it's just like a low pressure, like folks can hang. It accidentally populated out like some people's bands within that group of people, but yeah, it was a really nice experience to have kind of like an anti-capitalist, anti like being super goal oriented, just like music jam of people, and
Yeah,
have it be something for fun and enjoyable.
that sounds great though. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually one of the things we try to facilitate on our Discord community. So if you have any listeners who are cool and not trolls,
Yeah.
like I'm happy to share the link to our Discord community as well, because we facilitate some stuff like that on there as well. So
Bro, if you're cool.
yeah. Yeah, like yeah, connect with us. Yay.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Juan. It was really nice to
Oh,
catch up.
thank you so much. It was nice being able to talk to you again after all this time.
Yeah, I know.
Except for
It's felt
exchanging our
like
messages online.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's felt like
seriously.
forever, and I'm really grateful to catch up today.
Yeah, man. Maybe like you get some time, we'll do this again.
Totally. Always
Cool.
happy to come back.
All right. Well,
Bye,
thank
everybody.
everybody for watching. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Follow L and all the links below. Go in the description. Just click everything. Just click it all. Everything,
Yes.
all of it. Also, if you see that scrolling on the bottom, if you don't mind, help your boy out. Throw something through
Yes.
PayPal or the
Show
cash.
some love.
Daddy needs another laptop here and to fix his oven. But
Yes.
anyway, as like I said, thanks for watching, and remember, no matter what this fucked up administration says, you matter. You're loved, and remember to resist, exist, and persist. And tell those guys
Yes.
in that street to slow down out there.
Seriously.
Slow
Also,
down,
art
speed
art
racer.
is resistance. Keep
Fuck
keep
yeah.
keep yeah, being yourself and making cool stuff, whatever that
Exactly.
is.
In the words of Inky Wells, make art, even bad art. Just make art. All right. See you guys later.
Bye bye.